Alright, what's going on to YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're checking out some more lights from my friends at Magicshine. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon down below. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content on this channel. So like I said, today we're checking out some more cool lights from my friends at Magicshine. They sent me out a cool light last time and I guess they liked the video. So they sent me out more lights. I guess I did a decent job. Cool. So we got some cool lights here. These ones have some cool features that I've never messed with before and I think are kind of interesting. Something that's pretty unique to the Magicshine lineup. First one we'll start off is going to be this rear light here. So this is called the C50 Mag. And you might be like, that is a crazy name. And I agree, it's a crazy name. I didn't know what that meant at first. So the C50 Mag is actually a magnetic tail light. So go ahead and look at my redwood here. I have had this light on here for a couple months now. And it really works good. So this light here, it's a little square light. Little tiny square light, and you might be like, oh, it's just a rear light. So if we go ahead and push the button down, it turns on nice and red. So if we go ahead and we double press that, it turns to white as well. And if we double press it back again, back to red, back to white, back to red, back to white, back to red, back to white. That's right, it could be both options. It can either be a front light or a rear light. Kind of neat, honestly. I mean, I would never have thought of having a multiple choice light there where you could pick rear or front. Kind of cool. So it has the option to be both a front light and a rear light if you were just stuck in a situation like that. Along with that, of course, you have your different modes. So brighter, a little bit of pace flashing there, more aggressive flashing. You have this guy here pulsing, and back to just our normal light there. So it works pretty good like that. So this guy here, going along with the name of this guy, the max it can go is 50 lumens. That's not that much, right? 50 lumens. But for a taillight, that's really all you need. You just need something red and bright on the back of your bike. So we start at the beginning here. You got your low mode. That's actually just 6 lumens. Red light, you get about 9 hours off of that guy. If we go up to high, it's 15 lumens. 5 hours off of that guy. It's pretty much what I normally ride it on. It's just this guy right here. We can go ahead and do our night flash here. That's the one that goes pretty much, it goes 1 to 15 lumens. Get 9.5 hours off of that one. We have our day flash, which is this guy right here. Pretty much goes, that's our 50 lumen guy. So that goes 0 to 50 lumens. 12.5 hours on that guy. And if we go ahead to our last one here, this is our Eco Flash. This one goes 3, and then 15 lumens. 26.5 hours on this guy. You can see it's not as aggressive as some of the other ones. For me personally, I just go ahead and run mine on just the high mode. I mean, 5 hours is gonna work perfectly fine for me. It works great. So, it has tons of different modes there. Rechargeable, USB-C right here on the back. This flap, just go ahead, we just stick our fingernail right under and pull it away. USB-C rechargeable right on the back. Water resistant, of course, because it's on your rear wheel. It's going to be on the rear. It's going to get splashed by water. So water resistant here itself. And of course, we'll get to the last part in the name, and that's going to be mag. And that's because this light here is actually a magnetic light. So this light actually comes with this mount here is what this comes with. So it comes with this style mount, which kind of just a twist lock on the back. Now, like I said, this light is magnetic, so if I get close to this, it will actually just suck itself in and magnetize itself to that mount. And I'll tell you, you are not getting that off. I've driven an hour trip on this through some just small county roads, and it did perfectly fine. It was there the whole entire time. I didn't bother taking it off. So it's magnetic, kind of a neat thing. It just snaps right in and it's not coming off. In the case of this mount, you pretty much grab these two little prongs right here on the end. These two little prongs, we just push them together on the back, and that will kind of release the clip from the light itself. Kind of neat. I don't think I've ever had a magnetic light before. So magnetic light works good. With that twist lock mount, there's an under seat rail mount, which is what I'm using on this bike right here. I think it looks really clean. Without the light on there, you would never know it's there. It just works good. And then we want to throw it on, we just go ahead and put our mount on there and we just twist it right into place. Super easy. I mean, how much easier does it get? Along with that mount, of course, you get your USB-C charging cable, and then you just kind of get your standard pulley one here. So you could strap this around something, pull it tight, and you could lock in place like that. Has that twist lock on there, so you just twist that same mount on there, and then you just magnetize your light to it. Pretty cool design. However, we haven't even gotten to one of the coolest things I've seen. So the size of the C50 Mag is the perfect size, and it's designed to actually lock into certain style helmets, magnetically lock into them. And I happen to have one of the helmets it works with, and that is this guy right here. This is a Lumos helmet here. You'll see a review on this coming up. We have a Lumos helmet here, and it is set up so it fits perfectly in this spot right here and actually magnetizes in place. So we can go ahead, get our light close, and it locks in place on the back of the helmet. What? That is like the coolest thing ever. You have a light on the back of your helmet. We can switch it up. We can make it flash some. You can do whatever you want. You have a light on the back of your helmet. What the heck? That is awesome. And then it just comes right off, demagnetizes, and this is like the coolest thing. Like, I think this is awesome. I think this magnet light is like the coolest thing ever. You have a light flashing on the back of your head. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think this is awesome. So, pretty neat. It's pretty neat that it just magnetizes into things and it locks in place, and it locks in place solid too. I have not lost this light, and I ride gravel and single track, and it sits on the back of a car. It does all sorts of stuff. I have not lost this light yet. Pretty neat. So we'll go ahead and stick that guy right back on his mount, right under there. So pretty cool light. C50 Mag. By far the coolest light I've ever seen. The other light they sent me out is the Alti 1200U and the C50 version 2. So, a little bit different. This is just the C50. It's not the Mag anymore. It's just the C50 version 2. So, if we go ahead and pull these lights out here. So, the Alti 1200, kind of just it's a standard looking light. Nothing crazy to it. Looks pretty standard light. White light, of course, buttons right up on the top, USB-C chargeable. And then we got our rear light here. Nice and skinny guy, aerodynamic, nice clear lens to it that will flash red. It does have a nice kind of USB-C charger on the back, so you, of course, can charge all this USB-C. So it charges quick, like a light should. You should be able to charge them really fast and get those going. So you have tons of cool things with these lights. So if we go ahead, we'll turn our front light on, push, and hold that down. So you can see front light right there. It doesn't have a huge cutoff on it. It kind of just shines straight ahead. It does have a little bit of a hood on the front to keep the light from shining up. It keeps it pointed down. So you have lots of them. There's high. There we go, double click, and that gives us the flashers. Pretty neat. Let's double click again, bring it back to just our normal guy. And so you have just your front light there. Our rear light here, go ahead and turn our rear light on. So rear light, we just have our regular light there. We have our little bit of pulse. We have our flasher. We have another flasher. Steady, brighter. And we got our pulse again. So you might be looking at these and be like, those are pretty standard lights. So what makes those so cool? What's different about them that makes them a cool thing for Magicshine? And that all comes down to this remote right here. That's kind of the cool thing with these lights, is this remote actually connects these two lights together. You can connect your front and rear lights, and you don't have to worry about turning one on and turning both on. You don't have to worry about turning both on, because with this, I can push one of these buttons here, and both of our lights turn on. And same thing, we push the button again and both of them turn off. And your rear light's gonna go to whatever setting it was on last, so you never have to worry about your rear light. Your front light's gonna go to whatever it was on. However, your front light, if I push one of these buttons on here, or push the circle button, it'll actually change the brightness on the front light. Pretty neat. You can actually see it light up my jacket there. So you can change everything all through this remote control. Pretty neat. Didn't know you could do that, but pretty neat stuff that's possible, to control both your lights through the remote. So turn those guys off, pretty cool. They work like that. Pretty cool stuff, right? Well, we're not done yet. Now we're gonna take a look at the rear lights. The rear lights actually have a really cool feature as well. They call them the Peloton Sync Flash. So essentially, if I have this light here on flashing, and I go ahead and I turn my rear light here, so we have this guy and we turn this on to the same flashing mode, they will actually sync flashes between the two. So they are flashing at exactly the same pace. Kind of crazy. You can actually tell if we kind of come back to that one. So it's currently there, so we hit this button, it will resync itself back to the other one. That's pretty cool. So if you're riding with a group of guys and you all have the Magicshine lights and you all have flashers on, it'll sync them all together. If you're riding with the magnet one on your helmet and you have this one on your bike, they'll sync together. So you'll have them flashing at the same time. That's kind of a cool feature, that they somehow connect to each other and can flash at the exact same time and not drive the drivers behind you crazy. Kind of neat little feature. I like that feature quite a bit. And there's nothing you need to do to set this up. You just set it to a flash. If all your flashes are on the same mode, it will sync them together, no issues at all. And I'm pretty sure it's any of the lights that have the Peloton sync technology in them can do the same thing, where they sync together and they can have that same flashing mode. Pretty cool. I think it's a nice little feature to them. And what, your buddy leaves and, oh, that light turns off? Nothing, no change. It just keeps on flashing right along. And if your buddy comes back, you know, had to take a pee or something, it syncs them right back up. No problem. It's kind of neat how that works. So we're going to shut these guys off. Let's go ahead. We'll try our front light out. Let's turn all the lights off. Aim at the side of the truck. Let's see how the front light works, and then I think it's time to go try these guys outside. All right, so we've got all the lights off except for our small light on the camera. Go ahead and put this light kind of where it's going to be if we were to mount this up on a mount, and we'll go ahead, kick that guy on. So get this reset back for speed. So there's our low right there. Here's our medium. There's our high. Here's back to our low. It's a double click. Gets us to our flashing. Oh, that one's bright. Oh. Alright, there's our other flash. Kind of like the look of this one better. It's a little bit less aggressive. Alright, and double click should bring us right back to just our steady light. And like a lot of the lights, it does have a pretty good cutoff here. So aiming that down, it's kind of aimed about halfway up the top, right about the Bronco logo is where it's aimed at. So it's pretty close to straight right now, but there's not much light coming above into the windshield. So it's going to keep that beam nice and low to the ground, lighting up what you need to see, and that's going to work. Right? It kind of has that same cutoff design that a lot of the Magicshine lights have, and I think that works really good. It puts out pretty good light for what it is, for just this kind of a standard front light. Alright, so before we head outside to test these lights out, there's one thing I forgot to mention, and that's the front light is made to mount on an out front computer mount. So if you don't have one of those, Magicshine actually includes one in the box right here. Same thing as the other Magicshine light I showed. They work pretty good. It's awesome the companies are starting to include these in there with the computer mount and the light mount on there, just to get out front off your handlebars, kind of keep it one kind of sleek looking design to it. So to mount this light on here, it comes with this little metal bracket that actually just slips on the top right here and just slides into place. To lock in, you want to make sure you push it all the way up so it locks in. That way it doesn't just pop off. And then once you have that in, it's just going to go ahead and slide into the mount of an out front computer mount, just like that. So it's going to hang out front of your bike, shine up the road in front of you, keep it out of the way. Super easy to control, still even with the remote, it makes it even easier. But that's how it's going to work. Let's go ahead and throw these on a bike, wait till it gets dark, and we'll go test these guys out. Alright, so we got the Magicshine Alti 1200U out for a ride here. So this is our low setting here. So this remote has two different buttons. Oh, I need to fix that. So I believe the circle is going to let us go through. So that should be our medium setting. And there's our high. Okay. If we hit just the square button, I think it jumps straight to high. Yeah. Square can jump you straight to high. So if you're really need to see something, square will take you right to the high beam. And then when you want to switch back, you hit either button. Circle brings you right back through the selection of lights. So the low beam doesn't do too much for me. There's no street lights out. The low is kind of sketchy for me. Medium is not bad at all. I'll say that. And high feels really good. This one doesn't really have much of a cutoff for height on this one. It kind of just goes. It is aimed, I do have aimed a little bit more down to the ground, but it doesn't have that built-in cutoff to it. but it's plenty bright. The remote, I don't know. The remote's not bad. I mean, the two buttons, especially at night, you can't see them. So unless you know where they are, it's kind of a tricky remote. It does turn on the rear light as well. I'm not running the rear light right now, but it does turn on the rear light. So yeah, it's gives plenty of light out. Point it wherever you want it to go, and it goes there. It's not like it's a huge bulky light or anything. It's actually, it's kind of a big rectangle, is what I'd say it is. So it's not bad, but it does kind of bump into the cables on my new road bike, but it's definitely workable around that. All right, so what do we think of the Magicshine Alti 1200U along with the rear light? I think there's a lot of cool features with these here. The fact that you can turn on both the front and rear light with the same remote, they can do that. As well as the Peloton sync with the rear lights, where they'll sync up to each other if there's multiple Magicshine lights on the same ride, or even if you have two Magicshine lights you're running at the same time. I think it's a really cool feature on there. I think these lights would make a great option for like a commuter that could have like kind of a set and forget setup, where you have the lights already set ready to go. You have the remote, you can pop the light on and off, and it's just ready to go all the time. I think that's where I think I would find this more useful and something that would be used a lot. For me personally, with the type of, when I ride in the dark, I can't really see. I don't really have much street lights up where I live. So up where I live, it's really hard with the 2-button remote to know which button you're pushing. I'm sure if I rode with this a lot more, you'd be able to kind of remember which side is up, which side is down, if you just kind of left on your bike in the same way. However, this thing does need to charge. I didn't know that until I made this video. This thing had to charge. So when you remove it, you might put it on the opposite way. So it can be a little tricky with the 2 buttons. I think a 1 button would have worked better in my opinion, but I do like the option to be able to switch to a high beam, especially if you're commuting, you have some street lights, so you're running it on that low beam and the low beam works for you. But then you kind of get to a spot where there's not good lighting, you can bump the square button on here, go right to high beam, and then you can switch right back to low. That could be a really good thing for them, really good feature for a commuter. So I think they're really fancy. I think they're a really cool light. I really like the syncing where you could turn the front and the rear lights on at the same time. I think that's one of the coolest things I've seen with lights, is all from one remote, turning on both. The rear light just goes on to whatever was set to last. The front light just goes on to wherever was set to last. You can of course change it from there. So I think they work really, really good. So if you guys are interested in checking out the Magicshine Alti 1200U, I'm gonna have a link in the description down below. Again, a big thanks to my friends at Magicshine for sending me over these lights so I could show you guys another cool Magicshine light and some cool features that Magicshine has in their lights. I think they're really cool features that are really awesome that most people would not know about unless you saw them in person. So big thanks to these guys again. If you enjoyed the video, or at least found it entertaining, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys, love answering any questions you guys have, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.